Hi guys, Crispy here. Continuing on with the series, I'm going to go over the Big Mek, so the big guy behind most dread mobs. I myself didn't really field Big Meks, and mainly because I ran a Forge World dread mob, so my Big Mek was in a mecha. But either way, I will be obviously forced to field a Big Mek while I wait for the rules for the Mecha Dread from Forge World. So I did, in 5th edition, I did run a Big Mek with a custom force field, and he sat behind a can wall because that was the original, my original dread mob. And that was just 3 units of 3, backed up by 3 units of 20 boys. And I imagine that I'll be running a similar list with 8th edition. So let's have a look at the changes. Points wise, he didn't really change all that much. He ended up around about the same. When you add the custom force field and to his base cost, custom force field got a bit cheaper, he got a bit more expensive, so they work out about the same. I believe previously he only had 2 wounds because he was just a knob. He was strength 4, T4, I believe. So he was pretty average. Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 2. Now he is a little bit different. He's more like a character. So we have movement 5, which is obviously we've lost an inch from previous editions, but now with the way that they're doing movements for everyone, I mean, it's not too surprising that we're now moving 5 inches. I'd say that's about right for an orc. We're hitting on 3s across the board, which is a huge benefit because previously we were hitting most things on 4s. So that's a pretty good buff right there. We're hitting on 5s with our guns, ballistic skill 5+, so that's no change really because we were BS2 in the previous editions. We're now strength 5, so we've got 1 point of strength over our previous iteration. T4, that's the same. We have 4 wounds instead of 2, so we've doubled in wounds. 3 attacks, I believe that's the same as our previous version. Leadership 7, that's the same. And we come with a standard 4+ save, which is also pretty good. Standard, we are armed with a Slugger, Chopper, Stick Bombs, and we can also be accompanied by a Grot Oiler. Now, our other options for weapons, I'm going to go through those now. So we've got the Shock Attack Gun. Obviously that is a sweet model. I myself actually don't own one with a Shock Attack Gun. That is a 60-inch range, heavy D6, 2d6 strength, -5 to your AP, which is just horrendous. Like I think I've only seen the Broodlord has a higher AP than that if he rolls a 6 to wound. And then yeah, so it's just the usual. You roll the 2d6 strength. If you roll the really high amounts, then then the enemy's going to take mortal wounds instead. So it's not a bad option if you want to go for a more offensive Big Mek. Obviously Slugger, there's no real difference to that. It's exactly the same stats except it doesn't have an AP value anymore. Chopper, again, the only difference with the Chopper now is that you gain an additional attack if you're armed with the Chopper, so in that case we'd have 4 attacks. A Kill Saw, you -1 to your hit, but it doubles your strength, so it will be strength 10 with the Kill Saw, -4 to your AP, and 2 damage apiece. So definitely a pretty good choice. Obviously then we're hitting on 4s again, but you know, that's not too bad. And we also come with stick bombs, so we can throw a grenade. So this is the first model I've reviewed thus far that can throw a grenade. 6 inches, just it's a grenade, D6 shots, strength 3, no AP, and then 1 damage. So pretty good. At least stick bombs do something now. I don't remember. I don't think you could throw them in the past edition. I don't know. I've never actually chucked one. Obviously, like, I mean, it was just so rare that we had any sort of grenades charging into combat, through terrain, and even if we did, it didn't even matter because we were initiative 2. So, and then we can also take weapons. We can switch out our Slugger with a weapon from the souped up weapons. Those are all your combi weapons. You can also take the custom force field, as I've already mentioned, which is a 5++ for every unit that is wholly within 9 inches. So at the moment I believe it's everything within 6 inches gets the 5++ save. Now it applies to a unit, but the whole unit has to be within 9 inches. So I don't know, it feels like a buff. I think it's a buff. 9 inches is a fair distance. Obviously it's going to be really good for your vehicles, you know, your killer cans and stuff like that. But then on the other hand, those things have a 3+ save now, and most people, I imagine, are going to be running around with, you know, -2 sort of weaponry. You know, obviously we don't have any sort of meta to compare to at this point in time. There might be a lot of las cannons though. Las cannons are pretty good, and they are, I think they're -3, so that would bring you up to the 6, in which case 5++ is pretty good. So yeah, so that's the custom force field. This fellow can also repair orc vehicles. An orc vehicle can only be repaired once per phase. So you can heal up to D3 wounds that have been lost previously. And then the Grot Oiler allows you to, let's see, so when he does the repair, whatever you're repairing actually gains an additional wound into whatever you roll. So you can also use the Grot Oiler to take a wound for the mech as well if he happens to be shot. But he's also a character, so as long as you hide this fellow behind some guys, they can't target him unless they're armed with sniper rifles. So, you know, he's a pretty good choice. He's not very expensive. Power level wise, he's a power level 5 if you're going to be using, like, doing the more narrative sort of style of play. So I suppose we'll go on to the support units for this guy, and he really only has one, and that is the Pain Boy, or Pain Boss, however you want to say it, who is, I believe, an elite's choice now, and he gives everyone within, I think it is 3 inches, a 6+ effective feel no pain. So yes, it's only 6+, but you always get to take it. So even if you hit with something that's strength 8 or 10 or whatever, you're gonna get that 6+ save against that. Obviously, you know, and then if you're armed with the custom force field, then against ranged weapons, you're gonna be getting a 5++. And then if they're not something that's strong enough to negate your 4+ save, then you know you got a few little things that sort of stack on here. The other thing is that the mech, he has the mob rule, so his leadership is effectively the same as large mobs of boys. So now they brought in basically the old mob rule, where you have the same leadership as you have number of models in the squad. So if you've got 20 boys sitting nearby, then the mech, I don't know if it actually goes above 20 or 10. It doesn't say anything about there being a minimum. So I believe that you'd probably be leadership 20. And while that might sound ridiculous, now with the way the battle shock works, what you do is you count up all of your casualties, you roll a d6 and add that to the casualties, and then you minus your leadership. So, you know, maybe leadership 20 does make sense if you've lost. I think you can only actually have, I don't know how many boys you can have in a squad. I think it might be 30 maximum, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like if you lose 15, then your leadership 15, then you're only going to lose an additional d6 on top of that. So that's pretty good. And he also has the here we go rule, which means that the Big Mek can also re-roll his charge distances when he goes to charge units. So all in all, he's a pretty good support character, especially for your vehicles, with the ability to heal them up. The Grot Oiler is not too bad, you know, he's just a single, you can only have one of those little guys, but you know, if you've got something important, I mean, I can imagine this guy being more helpful if you've got a battle wagon, or that Gorkanaut, which had 18 wounds, or even the Stomper, which has what, 40 wounds. You know, stick this dude on there with a Grot Oiler, that could be pretty handy, D3+1, you know, so that's not too bad. And yeah, I think that that's it for the Big Mek. There's nothing really more to say. He's just a good support character. He's good if you're running vehicles. Obviously, My review is based around a dread mob, so this guy is probably going to be your HQ choice because he just adds the most to it. There's not really that much point in taking a war boss if you're running a lot of big stompy killer cans and dreadnoughts. So if you guys have seen anything more additional as far as the Big Mek is concerned, like with some more combos that I've missed out here, please let me know in the comments. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and thanks for listening guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.